Let me tell you something, Red. Yeah, so excited about this. Really, really am. Anyway, hey guys, Carnage here. Uh, Found this today. Today being November 1st, 2025. Really, really excited about this. I did pre-order mine from Amazon, but that's not coming till later in November. And I'm very impatient, especially when it comes to, Punisher figures. Like, Punisher figures are genuinely one of the most fun things that I think, ever. And this is one of the seldom times I've actually kept the figure in the box before I reviewed. Uh, this is the brand new Born Again Punisher, and oh my god, this box art, man, like so badass. So badass. Really do like this quite a bit. Uh, Pretty basic packaging though. The Daredevil Born Again logo, all the gobbledygook on the bottom, the double D on top. Because when I originally saw it, I was, on the peg. I just saw this. I was like, oh shit, do they have the Daredevil? Because I also have that one coming in. But the Punisher though, can't be more happy than that. So, without any further ado, let's just bust this bad boy out of the box. Anyway, just kind of had to cut to this, and let me just say, he looks so amazing, man. Like, just so good. Anyway, now let me just, finish opening this up. Okay, and something I just noticed after, looking at the box, this is some really cool backdrop art. So, for those of you who do ACBA, you could probably use this, for, certain scenes. But yeah, so far, man, like such a badass toy. Really do like it quite a bit. I'm gonna start off with the accessories he has. He has two hands, one fisted and one trigger hand. And he doesn't come with an excessive amount of accessories, so that kind of sucks. He comes with his Bowie knife. It's probably not a Bowie knife, but I don't know anything about weapons. A tomahawk, which I can't say I've seen with any other Marvel Legend before. That's really cool. And with that, whole final scene, whoops, final episode of Punisher, and with Daredevil and Punisher, it's so good. And then he came with an extended magazine pistol, which uh, if they do like the silver wash on this would look so good. But that's all it comes with accessory wise. And let me just say, out of the box, this guy is amazing. Like, I usually give myself like a few days to like pose the figure around before I do something like this, which but let me just say, gosh, so good. Like, this is such a good head sculpt. Now the headpiece, or the hairpiece, I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of. It looks a little too, I don't know, it looks kind of, it looks like it just doesn't fit very well with his head. I don't know, there's just something kind of off about it. So, not a huge fan of that. I really do like the skull, and from what it looks like, the skull does go all the way in. So that's really cool. We do have a very cool American flag on his arm because, Punisher, part of the U.S. military corps. Very cool. Really good detailing. I mean, not really too much they can really do highlighting wise just because he does wear all black. Really nice knee pads. Really do like that. And, just the, regular sculpted lining on this in general, just so good. Even the detailing on the knife holder and, uh, gosh, what's it called? Holster. So cool. And then all the extra clips, which I don't believe, yeah, these are not removable. And then back to the John Bernthal head, which compared to the first one we ever got, like, I mean, that's definitely a really big upgrade. Now, this one I do like more for the hair, but this one looks the most like him. Like, if I could, swap the hair to this head, I would. But, regardless, still a very cool figure, and just from what little I have been posing him, so fun. Alright, now let's get into some good old-fashioned articulation. So going into articulation, standard Marvel Legends articulation, he does have butterfly joints, which I didn't even realize while he was in the box. He looks up pretty damn far, and he looks down even lower. And I don't know about you guys, but there is a little bit of a shiny thing right there on mine. Don't know what that is, but it looks like it wipes off, so I'm not going to complain. And really cool, you know, thing that they're doing now with like the neck joint. Really do like that quite a bit. The arm. Now, this one does seem like it pops out a little bit, so it can't get really, really high. That's about the highest mine can go. He does have the upper arm swivel, and he does have the good old-fashioned double-jointed elbows, which, I mean, you know, if you bend them all the way, it does kind of look a little off, but, you know, right there looks pretty decent. And I do know there was a problem that I saw with one person where this part of the arm popped off, so be wary of that. Very cool, not horizontal, diagonal. Is it diagonal? Basically up and down movement of the hand, and then, you know, the horizontal movement of the other hand, which, you know, I really do like that they gave him this hand, and then, you know, like another hand where he could just hold like the knife or something and then just go like, it's really cool. He does have the upper, you know, titty swivel. Does have a waist swivel, but it is a little bit blocked by the stuff on the belt, so, you know, but still moves. A little difficult too, and, you know, me personally, I'm a bit worried that, you know, it's going to damage these things, but, you know, can't kick out super far, mostly because of that. Can't kick back super far either, so that kind of sucks. He does have the upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and I was really curious about this. He does not have a boot swivel, sadly, but he does have ankle pivot. And unlike most legends, nowadays he's not getting like the toe hinges because, you know, Deadpool has toe hinges, Hulk has toe hinges, Iron Fist does, you know, so lame that he does not have, you know, the movable toes. Now, going on to some comparisons, you know, already kind of showed this one off, but here he is next to the original Netflix Punisher, which, let me just say, I still really like the skull on this one the most out of most Punishers. And something I was really curious about is if the coat on this would fit on the newer Punisher, and it is a bit difficult to pull off, I will admit, but, you know, regardless, yeah, still came off smoothly. Now just gotta put it over his arms. Come on, there we go. And, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it does look a bit big, but I mean, you know, if you have the older Punisher, and, you know, you were curious about, you know, whether this fits on it or not, it does. So, that's pretty awesome. And I already kind of, you know, compared the heads on both of them. So, yeah. This one, good face sculpt. Not a big fan of the hair. Older one, really good hair. Not a huge fan of the face. And up next, here he is next to one of my personal favorite Punishers to have come out, the 2-pack one. And this one's just one of my personal favorite Punishers in general. The Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is the Punisher, just, you know, with the powers of Ghost Rider and, you know, cosmic abilities. So, don't tell me that's not a Punisher. It's Frank Castle. That's Frank Castle. That's Frank Castle. They're all Frank. Good. But yeah, really cool. And something I was kind of curious about, like, you know, since I really like, you know, how this one looks, kind of curious if this head will fit. Oh my gosh, I am very surprised about that. This head does fit on the older body. So, if you wanted to, I mean, from what it kind of looks like, the old head does kind of sit a bit high on it, but, you know, yeah, the older head doesn't work super well on the newer one, but, you know, the older one does kind of fit on the older body, or the new one does fit on the older body, I mean, and it's a little small, I will admit, but, you know, still very cool, because I did not expect that. Now, I do not have the newer Daredevil that just came out, but you know what I do have? I have Matt Murdock right here, which this is the one from the retro carded Spider-Man wave with all the movie characters from No Way Home, Far From Home. I always get them confused, but basically where he does that scene where he's like, I'm a really good lawyer. That's this one, which this is a very cool one. And they do look very good next to each other. And then, as of the fact they usually are, like this with each other, here he is next to the original Netflix Daredevil. And, this guy will be showing up once I get, the newer one. Or, this guy will be getting, shown up again in the video where I do the Daredevil. So, can't wait for that. He's coming in fairly soon, next week, hopefully. And they do look very good next to each other, I will say that. Just because, height-wise, they do work very well together. Daredevil's a little bent in his pose, but I mean, height-wise, they look perfect next to each other. So that's very cool. And then, gosh, if I remember correctly, I believe this character is going to be showing up in a special, or Punisher is going to be showing up in a special with Jessica Jones. Might be wrong about that, but regardless, so cool to have, Kristen Ritter and John Bernthal next to each other. And then our baby boy, Charlie Cox. Like, the only person they're really missing is Mike Coulter and, gosh, I forget his last name, but the guy who played Iron Fist, Flynn. And then the next comparison I wanted to do is him next to Kingpin, which Vincent D'Onofrio is a little taller than him in real life, so I mean, this Kingpin is a bit smaller, so just be wary of that. And then, just because we know Punisher showing up in the new Spider-Man movie, gotta, represent Tom Holland. So that's pretty cool. Can't wait to see this movie when that comes out. And then the last one, just because I also did get this figure today as well, from the exact same place. Here he is next to Batman, and like the Punisher is a 1/6 scale figure, and this is the DC Icons Batman. DC Icons, a bit smaller than these guys. So, didn't expect that. Because I think this Batman's like I thought this was a 1/6 scale Batman, but must have been wrong. But regardless, still very cool. Still one of the most badass figures to come out recently. Very, very excited for this, TV show to continue. Can't wait to see more of him, especially on the big screen as the Punisher. My God, it's going to be so awesome. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned for the, Daredevil review when I get that in, and, also the, couple other reviews I'll be having, because, have a couple things lined up that I'll be getting to hopefully within the next week or so. So, yeah. But anyway, I've already taken up enough of your guys' time. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Love you all. Peace.